with very fresh mind. So we don't require any prerequisites to learn this. And it's my responsibility to make you understand. But the only thing which I request you is listen to this carefully. And if you have any question, you can always post your question in the chat box. So definitely I'll see the chat box for every 5 minutes or 7 minutes. And I will definitely, answer your question. So before getting into the session, let's try to understand what we are learning first and what exactly the course is and how it can be, useful for you. So we are mainly focusing on cloud. So we are mainly focusing on cloud. And inside the cloud, our main focus is on Amazon Web Services. So initially, we will start our sessions with Amazon Web Services, but initially 1 or 2 sessions will be, we will be preparing our ground to understand about Amazon Web Services. We won't directly enter into the Amazon Web Services, and we won't directly create an instance and all. So we will try to understand what is a server, what is a network, what is an IP address, what is a public IP, what is a private IP. We will try to understand the basics of it, basics of an IT. So for 1 day or 2 days. So after understanding about those basics, so we will start discussing on Amazon Web Services. So mostly around for 25 days, we will discuss on Amazon Web Services with different services. Along with discussing on theory, for each and every service which I'm going to explain, so we also do the practical of it. Along with the practical, I will also giving you the tasks and you have to do it. And whoever completed the task first or first 5 or first 3, I will also upload that document in our Google Classroom or in our WhatsApp group or somewhere. So others who cannot do it, so they can follow the document and they can do it. So the reason being doing this is the 2 months of course what we planned. It should not be like just training. You all should feel it like an internship, or you all should feel it like you're working somewhere or you're working in some organization. So that's how you can learn new things. So that is what our goal for next 2 months. After completing the AWS, for at least 10 classes, we will work on Microsoft Azure for some of the services which I already shared in the course content, like load balancers, auto scaling, virtual machines, all this. While learning a service in Microsoft Azure, we will try to compare with an AWS so that when you attend an interview, you can answer the questions by comparing with AWS. So that's how the interviewer can aware of that you know the multi-cloud. Along with this too, we will try to see the overview of GCP as well, Google Cloud Platform, how to create a virtual machine, or we will try to migrate some data from GCP to AWS, or some application from GCP to AWS. So with this, we are primarily focusing on Amazon Web Services, Along with that, you'll get to know. So people from online, please, I think, whenever you're doing something, lines are coming on my whiteboard. So please don't do that. So yeah, coming to the overview of GCP. So with these three, you will have a knowledge on multi-cloud. The reason being added of these three clouds is many of the organizations or many of the opportunities are there around these three clouds, and people are looking for who are well versed with multi-cloud. So that is the reason we added all these three. After this, we also include Terraform fundamentals in it. How to create an infrastructure in AWS or in Azure, any of it. So that we'll show how to write those Terraform templates, at least, or 2 or 3 sessions on Terraform to make you understand about Terraform and how to deploy those Terraform templates into the AWS. Along with that, we also add CI/CD. So generally, whenever we deploy Terraform templates, we will never deploy those Terraform templates manually in the organizations. We will always use some pipeline to deploy those Terraform templates. So we will be showing, or we will be doing a project of deploying those Terraform templates using of Jenkins or using of GitHub Actions. So these are the topics that we cover in our course for next 2 months. The reason being selected of these clouds and these tools is whenever, if you want to showcase some experience, or if you want to say that I have done some internship or I have worked for 1 year. So if you want to show something like this, so we can say that I worked on these tools, or I worked on these cloud platforms, or I deployed this, or I have done this. So kind of a job orientation program. So these are all comes from our daily routine or our daily jobs. So whatever we do regularly in our jobs, we all put together and we are giving this as a course, so that if you try for a job, or if you want to put some experience, so this helps you a lot. So the reason we added this. So to learn all this, you don't require any prerequisites. And especially, people who are joining or attending our classes, we won't expect anything from the student. Like, you don't need to read something before coming to our class. It's my job to make you understand from very scratch. But the only request from our end is you have to listen to the class carefully. At the same time, whenever we provide any task, at least try to do the task, so that whatever the task that you are doing, so the same task you can explain in the interview saying that I have done in my previous company, or I have done in my previous internship. That's what you can, explain that. So for that reason, so whatever the task that you are doing, for example, let's say we have total 40 sessions. So in 40 sessions, at least we might do 20 tasks. It means in your resume that you can add 20 points on your own. By the end of this course, obviously I'll share you the resume template. But our goal is you have to prepare your resume on your own instead of copying someone else's templates. On the day one, so whenever we started taking, classes, like you are attending the classes, you have to take an empty Word document. Every day, we will learn a new point. You have to add that new point into your WordPad. By the end of our course, assume that out of 40 classes, you can definitely write 20 to 25 points, which is more than enough in your resumes, so that you can feel the difference. People who are taking the resumes from others and copying the resumes, and a person who who attend this class, preparing your resume on your own. So when you attend for an interview, whatever in your resume that you have added, you should be aware of it from first point to the last point. So our goal is to make the student confident on your resume first, so that obviously you'll be confident on your job or on your interview. So that's what our route map for next 2 months. So let me just look at the messages once. Others can able to hear me, Krunal. So check your speaker once. And Jayashree, you have a cloud practitioner exam on 30th November. So definitely, so this particular course will help you to pass the cloud practitioner exam. Okay. So along with this technical part, I always encourage the students to communicate with me in the chat box, because it shouldn't be like a YouTube session, right? Whenever you have something, or whenever I ask something, or if I ask some question, like, you can simply drop a message in the chat box so that the communication will be good, so that we can interact with each other. Done. So now we'll enter into the technical part now. So today let's try to understand what is a cloud first. Today, let's try to understand what is cloud. Before understanding what is cloud, before entering into this, better to understand if there is no cloud, what people used to follow. Before understanding what is cloud, better to understand if there is no cloud, what people used to follow. After entering into the cloud, what advantages that we can get. So that's, you can easily understand that. So if there is no cloud, let's talk about this now. If there is no cloud, if there is no cloud in the market, people used to follow physical infrastructure. Physical infrastructure. Physical infrastructure means something that we have physically with us. Something that we have physically with us. So physical. Let's try to understand about this word first. Physical. Physical. What is the opposite word to this physical? The opposite word to this physical is virtual. Let's try to understand about these two. If we know about these two, it means we know about cloud. That's it. So cloud is very simple. Cloud is very, very simple. If you know about the difference between physical and virtual, that means 20% of cloud that we already understood. For example, earlier days, before Corona, so whenever I want to attend an interview, I supposed to travel to the company and giving an interview, which is an in-person interview. So that we supposed to call it as a physical in-person interview. We should travel there and we should give an interview. But nowadays, most of the interviews, instead of traveling there directly, sitting there physically, we are fulfilling that requirement by staying in our house. That we are calling it as virtual. Physical, virtual. Physically, if you are traveling to that particular location and completing your task, that you are calling it as a physical. Physically, if you are not traveling to there, if you are sitting in your home, and if you are fulfilling your requirement, that we call it as a virtual. What is the example that I've told you? Let's say there is an interview which is going on. If you are physically traveling, so ignore the spellings, guys. So traveling, it's waste of time again. Connect 1 second. PH. Okay. If you're physically traveling there, that you're calling it as physical. If you are not traveling there, sitting in your home, so that we are calling it as virtual. Let's try to convert this example into the technical example. So here we are just talking about an interview. If you're physically going there and giving your answers, that you are calling it as a physical interview. If you are sitting in your home and if you're just, answering something or, doing something, that you're calling it as a virtual. Let's say, for example, we will convert this into the technical example. Let's say, for example, I have a computer in front of me. I have a computer in front of me. I am accessing this computer, sitting in front of this computer, sitting in front of this computer, sitting in front of this computer, accessing it. This we call it as a physical. This we call it as a physical. For example, if you are sitting in your home and accessing my computer, that is called virtual. Hope you got it. If you are coming here and if you are sitting in front of my computer and if you are accessing it, that is physical. If you are not coming to here, if you are sitting at your home and accessing this, my computer, that is called virtual. So, if you are accessing to my computer requires charging, right? My computer requires some maintenance. So 24/7, if you are sitting in your home and if you are accessing to my computer is not something, a thing that which can work without charging or without maintenance. My computer requires maintenance. So who is going to take care of that maintenance? So since I'm here in front of my computer, I'm going to maintain it. I am going to maintain it. You are accessing my computer, but I'm maintaining it. That is called virtual. If you are having computer in front of you and if you are maintaining it, that is called physical. So the conclusion is, let me drop it down. So whatever the reason I'm writing on this board is, whatever I'm writing it, I'll just convert this into the PDF and I'll share it with you, so that it will be useful for you to recap it. So the conclusion, what is the conclusion here? If a computer is using by you and also maintaining by you, that is called physical. If computer is using by you and maintaining by someone like me, That is called virtual. So hope this example is clear for you. So initially we talk about a normal example like an interview. If you're sitting and if you're attending the interview from your home, that we are calling it as a virtual. If you are traveling to the location where the person is sitting to take the interview, and if you're giving the interview there, that we are calling it as a physical. And if I convert that example technically, if there is a computer, if you are accessing the computer from somewhere, if you're accessing computer from somewhere, let's assume that if it is my computer, if you're accessing it from somewhere, and if you're paying for me because of using my computer, that is called virtual. I'm repeating this example. If you are accessing my computer from your place, and if you are paying me because of using it, that we call it as virtual. If you feel that you don't want to keep computer away from you, and if you want to maintain it, so you bought a computer physically, and if you are maintaining it without someone else is maintaining, that is called physical. That is called physical. Let me check the messages if there is any. Okay, no messages. So whenever you are listening to my class, if you had any question, I may not reply that instantly. You can just drop a message in the chat box. Whenever I got a chance, I'll go back to the chat, I'll read that, and I'll again give you an answer, because I don't want to stop the example or stop the explanation in middle. So that I'll complete that and I'll go back and see the messages. And if there is any messages, I'll answer that and then I'll continue. Because I don't want to answer the questions at the ending. Because, for example, let's say if I'm listening to the class, if my mind got stuck at somewhere, I cannot concentrate on the rest of the class. That is the reason for every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I always keep on looking into the messages. If I feel something that if I should answer at that point, I'll answer it. If I feel that I can ignore it and I can answer at the ending, I'll answer at the ending. Okay, done. So let's recap what I have discussed so far. So we are trying to understand the cloud, but we are not entered into the cloud. We are preparing our ground to understand about cloud. We are trying to understand about a physical infrastructure. And now we got to know that, okay, physical infrastructure means if a computer is maintained by me, then we are calling it as a physical infrastructure. And if a computer is maintaining by someone, and if I am using it, that we call it as a virtual. Okay. But in general, in organizations, people will not use a terminology like physical and virtual all the time. So slowly we will convert it to the official terminologies, like organization terminologies. Physical. Okay. Physical. Instead of calling it as a physical, we can call it as on premises. On premises. So the name on premises. Premises means what? The place where we stay, or a physical place. That we call it as a on premises. So just try to correlate with our previous example. If you are maintaining your computer in your place, that we call it as a physical infrastructure. The same example, I'm changing the wording now. If you are maintaining your computer in your premises, then we can call it as on-premises infrastructure. That is called on-premises infrastructure. If you are maintaining your computer in your premises, that is called on-premises infrastructure. Then, Virtual is nothing but a cloud. Virtual is nothing but a cloud. If you are not maintaining your infrastructure in your premises, someone else is maintaining it, and if you are using it, that is nothing but cloud. That is nothing but cloud. I'm repeating this again. This is very important point. Instead of you maintaining of your computer, someone else is maintaining it. That is nothing but a cloud. Instead of you maintaining your computer, I'm repeating it. Now I'm calling it as a computer, but in future, I will call it as an infrastructure, because day by day we have to mature, right? So computer is a normal terminology. Infrastructure is a organization terminology. Infrastructure means having more and more computers. Okay, let's try to understand about what is a computer, what is a server also. But for time being, just remember it. If someone else is maintaining your computer, that is nothing but a cloud. Who is that someone else? Someone else. Who is that someone else? In previous example, someone else is nothing but me. So that is the example which I told you. If I'm maintaining a computer and if you want to access it, that is called it as a virtual and that is called it as a cloud. Someone else is nothing but whoever is maintaining it, that person is nothing but someone else. So we can call him as a service provider. Service provider. Service provider. Who is service provider? Who is providing a service for us? Let's say, for example, if you are using an ACT internet, so the service provider is ACT. If I'm using Jio, my service provider is Jio or Reliance or whatever it is. If I'm using some other like Airtel, my service provider is Airtel. So for example, if I'm maintaining your computer, I'm representing the 𝗫𝗏𝗃 here. The service provider is 𝗫𝗏𝗃. And you enrolled for training, and the training is provided by 𝗫𝗏𝗃. The service provider is 𝗫𝗏𝗃. The person who is helping you or who is working on behalf of you or who is doing your job or who is maintaining your infrastructure, that person is nothing but a service provider. That person is nothing but a service provider. So did you understood what is an on-premises infrastructure now? Can you just give a message on the chat box, yes or no, please? Whenever you type an S in the chat box, that gives me more and more energy, because if I'm explaining something and if you are able to understand that, so that makes me more and more happy and gives more and more energy for me to explain that. Great. So I got only 10 replies, but we have almost 60 people in the session. So at least we should get 30 to 40 replies. So please be attentive to the session. Just give a reply yes or no. Okay, great. Understood. Now we understood what is a physical and what is a virtual. And with that, we understood what is on-premises and what is cloud. We'll just take one more technical example. So first we started with very basic non-technical example. And after that, we try to understand a semi-technical, not completely technical. We try to understand a small example. Now we'll go with another example. Let's say, for example, we have a Google Drive or Google Photos or anything, whatever it may be, Google Drive or Google Photos. We have many we are every day we are using it. Directly or indirectly, in our daily life, every day we are using cloud, but we don't know that we are using cloud. That's it. I mean, people who are not aware of it. People who are aware of it, that's good. But people are not aware of it. In our daily life, definitely we are using the cloud. It means you are just extending your knowledge. Don't feel that you are completely new to this technology. We are in our daily life, we are using the cloud. I'll tell you how. In our mobiles, if you are using an Apple mobile, definitely there will be a iCloud. I'll write iCloud as well. If you are using a normal Samsung mobile or any other mobile, we are having a Google Drive or Google Photos. The mobile can be anything. It can be an Apple or it can be an Android. If it is an Apple, we are calling it as an iCloud. If it is a Samsung or any other mobile, we are using Google Drive or Google Photos or anything. Here, we are storing our pictures or videos or anything. We are storing it. How do we store this? By simply signing up with some Gmail or whatever it is, and you're simply uploading your photos or videos. That's what we are doing. Everyone will do it. Everyone will do it. Even my father will also do it, who doesn't know anything about cloud. He's also using cloud. But they don't know that they're using a cloud. That's the only thing. So, whenever you change your mobile, simply what you're doing, simply log out and log into the other mobile with the same Gmail. So you're getting all photos and videos into your mobile. How it can be happened? People who doesn't know about a cloud, their assumption is they are storing their pictures in their mobile. If they store their pictures in their mobile, if they change the mobile, they should lose the photos, right? But they are not losing it. They are simply logging out from there and signing into a new mobile. So that is what they are doing. It means we are not storing our pictures or videos in our mobile. We are storing in the cloud. Cloud means what? Instead of we maintaining something, someone else is maintaining it. Let's say, for example, if you store your data in some pen drive. So what you'll do, you have to carry the pen drive. You have to maintain the pen drive. Let's say, for example, this is your mobile. This is my mobile. So this is my mobile. So what I'm doing here, I am uploading pictures or anything into my mobile, or inside my mobile, I might have a small Google Drive app or Google Photos app or anything. Let's assume that this is let me change the color. Let me assume this is a Google Drive or something. And you are uploading this here. It means your photos are not storing inside this mobile. There is a machine which is provided by that particular service provider. If it is Google Cloud, the service provider is Google. So your images are uploading, your mobile is acting as a bridge. Your images are uploading here. Your photos are uploading here. It means your mobile is like a bridge. Using this bridge, you're uploading all your photos into this machine which is located somewhere. This is a machine. And you are not, if it is a pen drive, you are maintaining it. If this is a pen drive, This pen drive is maintained by you. Or for example, if you remember our previous days, earlier days, if my storage is, full, like I supposed to, take out my memory card. That memory card is with you. That is a physical. Let's say we'll take another mobile here. This is my old mobile. What I supposed to do? I supposed to add a memory card inside this mobile. Assume that this is a memory card. This is the memory card. So I supposed to upload all the photos into this memory card. I should maintain this memory card. And if this is my old mobile. Without getting confusion, let me type it here. This is my old mobile. And this is a memory card. This is a memory card. Memory card. I'm just typing it MC. Okay, memory card. If I bought a new mobile, in earlier days, what I supposed to do? I should copy this, or I should take it out and I should put it here. That's what I supposed to do in earlier days. This is a physical infrastructure. Memory card is a physical infrastructure. But nowadays, if this is a Google Drive, or photos or whatever it is, you are uploading your photos into the Google Drive. It means that is getting stored here into this machine. And this machine will be maintained by service provider. It is maintained by service provider. Simply, you are signing out from this mobile. Simply, what you'll do, you will sign out from here and you will sign into here. So, because of this Google Drive or because of this cloud, our job is very easy. So this is very small example. In our daily life, in this small requirement, this cloud makes our job very easy to switch from one mobile to other mobile. Then assume that in enterprise level, how this cloud will help us. When it is a small requirement, like, to just store our videos and photos, cloud is making our job is very easy. Then assume that in enterprise level, how this cloud will help us. So you'll all get to know this, how the cloud will help us in the enterprise level as well. Okay, let's summarize what we have learned till now. Initially, we started with an example of interview example. Remember this interview example. Either it is physical or virtual. Then slowly we move to the technical example with a computer example, who is maintaining it. Then we started understanding about on-premises and virtual. It means nothing but a cloud. Then slowly we try to understand an example of Google Drive or Google Photos versus memory card. Earlier days, we supposed to use a memory card, but we are not using memory card. In our mobiles, nowhere there is a memory card we are inserting now. Simply, we are using a cloud. We are uploading the pictures into it. And if you are switching your mobile, signing out from there and signing into the other mobile. Is it clear till now? Yes or no, please? Is it clear, guys? Yes or no? Very good. So now the statements that you need to remember is on-premises infrastructure is nothing but if you are maintaining your infrastructure in your premises, that we call it as an on-premises infrastructure. Cloud, if someone asks you about a cloud is nothing but instead of you maintaining your infrastructure, if someone else is maintaining it, that is nothing but a cloud infrastructure. Okay. Now, we'll go to another example. Till now, we talk about a single computer. Till now, we talk about very single computer. But in organizations, we will not have a single computer, right? We will have a lot of machines. So before trying to understand about it, let's try to understand what is a server. What is a server? Server is nothing but a computer. Server is nothing but a computer. Then you can ask me a question that, sir, can I make my computer as a server? Or what is the difference between computer or server? Why we are using two different names? Why should not, why can't I call my computer, like if I went to buy a laptop, so can I say that I need a server? The answer is no. Server or a computer or a virtual machine or anything is equal to a machine. But the difference is, whenever if you host any application, then you'll call it as a server. If you host any application or a database, then you'll call it as a server. Then again, you can ask me a question saying that, sir, can I host any application on my computer? You can, but the difference is, let's say, for example, if I have a computer, if I'm having my computer, and in engineering, we all buy computers to use something, right? So based on our requirement, our computer configuration depends. If I want to buy a computer to just watch the movies, a 4 GB RAM is enough for me. Or if I want to buy a computer to do some video editing, I have to increase my configuration, right? Similarly, let's say if I want to host AWS application, if I want to host an AWS application, so I require a machine first. Let's say this is a machine. If I host AWS on it, and if I'm maintaining 8 GB RAM, and per second, if there are 10,000 requests are coming to my AWS application, 8 GB RAM cannot be supported, right? Or my infrastructure cannot be supported. So what I mean to say is, based on the requirement, the laptop configuration will be there. If you want to make your computer as a server, the configuration should be very high. Just 4 GB RAM, i3 processor may not be sufficient because you have to run an application on it, and n number of users are accessing to it, and it should respond to it. So that obviously what should be there? The high configuration should be there. Let's say, for example, if I'm sitting in front of you, if you're asking me the question and if I want to answer, so I need to have an energy to answer, right? I need to have a knowledge to it, a certain configuration required in me to answer all your questions. Every person cannot answer all the questions, right? Similarly, every computer cannot, capable to host the applications. A simple example, every person are not capable enough to answer all your questions, because A person should have a configuration. It means a skill set to answer all your questions. Similarly, every computer is not ready to run the applications. It depends on its configuration. If the configuration is enough, that's fine. Then you can host the applications. So remember this. Okay. So every person is a human being, but based on that requirement, we have to see that that person is capable enough to do that or not. Similarly, every computer is a machine, but if you want to run an application, you have to check the configuration of that computer that it can able to run the application or not. And you might hear that different names like application server, database server, application server, database server. The difference is, see, when there is a person, if he is a AWS trainer, we will call him as an AWS trainer. If he is an Oracle trainer, we'll call it as an Oracle trainer, right? Similarly, human being remains same there. Based on his skill set, his designation is converting. Similarly, for example, when there is a bottle, here there is a bottle. If you fill this bottle with the water, you will call it as a water bottle. And if the same bottle, if you filled with a drink, you'll call it as a drink bottle. You'll call it as a drink bottle. Similarly, when there is a machine, let's say there is a machine with some configuration, with some high configuration, and if I host application on it, we'll call it as an application server. And if I host database on it, I'll call it as a database server. Simple. Remember this. If someone asks you, what is a server? If someone asks you, what is a server? Server is nothing but a machine, a computer, which is having a high configuration. And if I'm running an AWS application on it, I'll call it as an application server. And if I'm running a database on it, I'll be calling it as a database server. Understood? So let me summarize again what we have discussed so far today. We have taken an example of an interview. We have discussed on it. We have taken computer example. We discussed on it. We have taken a Google Drive example and versus memory card to understand more about what is on-premises and what is cloud. And then we discussed about what is a server. What is a server? Hope everyone is clear today. So we will park it here for today. Tomorrow we will continue with this more and more examples. Can you please all type your answer here? Is it clear? Is everyone is clear? Is there any confusion in the examples or is there any confusion in the teaching? At any point, if you feel anything, sir, better to go slow or sir, better to do this, kindly, reach out to me. So you can always, give your feedback. The end goal is you all need to understand. So that is the end goal. So there is no hierarchy here. So feel free and feel this 2 months as an internship. Don't feel this as a training. Never feel this as a training. It should not be a training. It should be an internship. Feel that you're working in an organization. Feel that I'm giving a KT to you and feel that I'm giving a work to you and do the tasks. Clear? After the first week, completed. So definitely we'll be working with a different task and you'll be having a tasks. Clear? If you do not have any doubts, so feel free to leave the session. So thanks for joining. So from tomorrow also same link, guys. You can join on the same link, same timings, everything will be remain same.